Hey prioritizers, today we're going to show you how to install a 174 Hudson rack on a current bicycle. The same process would be for all of our other bicycles.
Please note, we recommend that any repairs that are done on your bike be done by a professional mechanic. If you choose to follow this video and repair the bike yourself, we suggest taking it down to your local bike shop for a safety check afterwards.
For your rack installation, you're going to need a razor blade or a pair of scissors to open up the box, a 5 and a 4mm Allen key. So let's get started by opening the box. We can use razor blade or household scissors to open it. Once you open up your box, you're going to see your rack and your hardware. Let's remove your hardware first. And now let's remove your rack. Using your 5 and your 4mm Allen key, we're going to first adjust these struts. You're going to want to get the struts just about in this position to get yourself started. You'll want to do this on both sides. Now, using your 4mm Allen key, you're going to want to reposition this part of the rack so it's just about centered within this hole. We're just going to get those tight enough because we are going to have to move them around later. Okay, let's get this onto your bike and start bolting it down. On your bicycle, we're going to remove this bolt here. And also on the other side, here. You'll also want to remove this bolt down here on both sides of the dropout. Now let's prep our hardware using the bolts and washers that came in the box. Using the bolt, we're going to feed it through our washer. You'll want to do this to all 4 bolts. Holding the rack, the front side will be the sides with the struts sticking outward like this, and the reflector will be facing the back. Let's get the rack and put it over the fender. And over here, you're going to notice it gets a little tight. So we're going to grab both legs of the rack and spread them over the frame, like so. And just get them in position on the rear dropout. Now, using your longer 5mm bolt with the washer through it, you're going to bolt down one side first. We're going to want to leave this loose. Once it's threaded in, we're going to then do the other side. This next part's a little tricky. As you can see that these are not aligning properly. What we're going to do is bend this strut downward. It's going to require a little bit of force, which is fine, and then we're going to bolt it down. You're going to want to do the same thing on the left side. If your bicycle has a brake routing like this one, you're going to tuck it towards the inside of the rack, like this. Now that we have our rack pretty much in the position that we want it to be, we're going to go around to every bolt and just tighten them down just a little bit. Still giving them a little bit of space to move around as we reposition the rack. Now we can check to see if our rack is level. I'm going to hold the bike upright, and I'm just going to eyeball the rack. It should be pretty straight. If it's leaning forward, what you're going to do is pull it back, and if it's leaning back, you're going to push it forward. If everything looks good, you can go ahead and tighten down all the bolts. You want to tighten all these bolts until the tool leaves an impression on your hand. Once you're done tightening all the bolts that use a 4mm Allen key, you can use your 5mm Allen key to tighten this bolt right here. Make sure to do the same on the left side of the rack. Again, you want to tighten this enough until the tool leaves an impression on your hand. Well, there you have it, prioritizers. That's how we install our 174 Hudson rack onto the Current. Again, this process is the same for all our other bicycles. But if you have any questions or issues, feel free to reach us. Our information is at the bottom of the screen.